How are we all? Welcome to another Traders Community podcast. A manic Monday in some respects. With the focus today seems to be the return of meme stocks with AMC, GME, etc. Whilst oil got pounded, lost about $10. Natural gas much the same. And Apple and Tesla pretty well ensured a strong day for the stock markets. So without further ado, remember this is not a financial advice. It's traders' opinions of what's going on. So please make your own decisions and history and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully what we share with you is of use. So we got the glorious Madavi here. And big Meta Johnny there, all excited with, I think, Ethereum being a monster and all the Bitcoin showing very positive strength today. So let's get started. Much talk about AMC out there, as you know, and GME, big moves. It looks like a lot of short covering and stocks related. We'll talk about that too. A stock we played a little bit called HYMC, which you may remember from a few weeks ago, a gold mining stock. Okay, so oil's 103.47, not far off its lows. S&P cash 4579. The Russell 2076. Natgas 4548. Nasdaq almost 15,000, 14,986, and volatility near the lows of the day. The VIX at 2302. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the spoos. So, as you know, we base a top-down approach. We have been so this has been one of those great runs. It's gone even more than what we thought. We were basing the bottom here was pretty clinical. But once it got over this Cajun on a weekly basis, that was the third confirmation. Remember, the main one was the 50, and we tapped it here. And we've gone nearly 200 handles on the S&P there. So the bias has been to the long side. Pretty clinical. You can see it the same here on the S&P when it broke that channel. So you can see these are significant levels. That's why we use them. So it's pretty well been clockwork. That's been over a week now. 240 today. So pretty well today. I think I did one futures. But since this double bottom, back on the minus 2H at 41.40 on cash, we have just gone up. Today, there was one piece of selling there where we did play the VIX again. Basically, there was two auctions today on bonds, a 2 and a 5. 2 wasn't well received. 5 went okay. That created a little bit of selling. And then buying, as far as stocks went, Apple opened lower. Part of that was that EU news from Friday. And then rallied for the rest of the day. Apple now has the biggest percentage of any other stock in the S&P, 7.1% since 1980, I think I read. So 1980, it's 7.1% of Apple's weight is in the S&P. That's phenomenal. So basically, Apple moves, it dictates it, and then if Apple jumps in the Tesla, like it did today, there was talk of that doing another split. So that was 1100 almost. I think it was 1080. So when you got that going on. As far as macro news, you saw oil fall with news of Shanghai going into lockdown for a week or so. Remember, as we keep opining is, we'll look at that oil specifically, but it's very leveraged, very thin. So that's all we did on S&P, just pretty well traded from that. Like I said, one trade. And you got this little cross here this morning, and we just accelerated after that. Again, minus 2.8 on the 5 minute, and we just went up all day on the spoos. There was this sell-off this morning around there. As I said, it was bond related. There was probably some bombs going out there on news bombs to do with, what do you call it? Ukraine or something. But pretty well that was it. Oil related. So we'll bring Madavi in, the Nasdaq. We didn't really trade too much futures today between us, did we?
I traded a little bit. I was long this morning. Then saw up and went short. Then I caught the last run up, and that was it. That's all the trade I did.
Yeah, there wasn't much there really. Pretty much the same. So we'll bring Madavi in, the Nasdaq. We didn't really trade. Hearing you twice here today. Wow. So yeah, we had that nice run up. As you can see, just technically there. I didn't really look at it too much, but you had a perfect ABC just looking back at it, and we just pumped. Ideally, just like S&P, and if you put the Apple chart up, it's pretty well the same thing. So let's jump on to oil real quick, because that was the big move. Now, unfortunately, on Friday, if you remember, I shorted some of the energy stocks on Friday and got stopped out and didn't keep them over the weekend. I did keep one in the book, Vermilion, VET, which I had covered with short calls inside the money. So, but they did a buy. They bought someone for 300 mil up there in Canada. So that ended up being a small stop loss because I was not going to hold it with that. So I covered, bought back the short calls, and sold the stock out. So there's a small loss, nothing too much. A net of about 70 cents. But so the key there I wanted to share you that was at these sort of levels you also, I try to hedge myself at best. And with high vol, it's more selling in the money calls. Obviously, it would have been better not to have covered the short calls on Friday, but so be it, we didn't. Interesting, one of the short stocks from Friday was EQT. That actually went higher today, and one of the long stocks, SWN. So they're all natural gas related. Oil, the length was all covered. Anything we had there, or we were small short. So anyway, as you can see, 1, 2, 3. This is the same markings. We came off the 50. The accelerated sell last night was when it broke under the Cajun, so you could short all the way down there on daily. Remember, we're keeping it very small and tight with the spreads, and that's why you're getting these movements. $10 move is a big move, and on the 240 you can see it even clearer there. So we gapped down on the weekend and we just sold off from the weekend. Just keep your grid if you're trading that. Trade off the grid. Natgas came back under that double top, broke it, and came back under it last night. A lot of to do with that was to do with oil, obviously. And remember, every move is being exaggerated right now in commodities because limits have increased, margins have increased, and there's less players playing them. We've spoken a fair bit about that. On the 60-minute Natgas, you can see it was a short, pretty easy short last night off plus 2.8. Came down and bounced twice off the 50. Let's look at what oil did today. I didn't really look at it too much, actually. The main play, obviously, was Bitcoin. But you can see, for many in this space, what's going on here? I keep getting the weather. So oil, remember, it's flirting up and down from this. This is a weekly chart from this tanking. And so that's what's going on. It really needs to build construction here if it's going to continue up without a bigger pullback given where it is. That's between plus 2.8 and plus 4.8. So we all know the rules there. Do we want to look at some of the stocks real quick? So the beasts have been GME. So let's bring GME up. And AMC, let's bring AMC up first. So as you know, AMC is probably the epitome of, who's the bigger meme stock, AMC or GME?
GME.
GME probably, yeah, right. So I did notice AMC was up more today. That may be because it's cheaper. But here's AMC going across the tape here. And you can see as it pushed up. Look at that. So I'd love to say I took part in this, but I don't think any of us did we? So it broke a series of pennants because there's a lot of big shorts on this. And there's a lot of overhead supply. So basically today it broke this 22 and just ran. And what's unusual, this happened on Monday. So more than likely there was a lot of gamma bought for this on Friday. That's expired and then it's all gone back on again. That's what that looks like. Now a stock related to this. So that's AMC. You can see it broke, really got extended. This has come from -1/8. So it's now +3/8. And much of that happened today. So these are real momentum memes, stocks like that. Let's look at GME. Well, actually, before we do that, good point. Let's look at daily, where these levels are on a daily basis. So on a daily basis, look where this came from. You could argue this is a massive, massive bull flag with all this energy, and it got over the daily cloud today. So that, we just saw the short term at 21. We broke that cloud at 22. You can see potentially it can do this. In markets as broken and as fake and as unreal, I'm not willing to say anything about these sort of stocks. You know, there's a lot of people with really big positions either way. If we look at GME, and yeah, this is not about fundamentals. So yeah, I mean, is any of it, Madavi, anymore?
No.
I mean, even as big as what Apple and Tesla is, look at their PEs. So here we have GME, very similar patterns. It busted up in the middle of the month over this, the cage in the pink. It accelerated, broke the 50, came back and tested around 120. The only real news that I see is Ryan Cohen taking more leadership role in this. He bought did he buy more of this? I know he bought that share in BBY. So BBY has basically become a meme stock as well. Let's look at this other little one that we played a few weeks back. I can't believe I had this at 58 cents. What's that? HYMC, right? Sorry. So HYMC is basically what this stock was a small gold mining stock. That's how it was originally alerted to me. And I think we played it. I only made this little bit here. We had a bit of fun with. Then what? It became a RAN up here. And it's interesting. Some charts, it actually got to 290, I think we went through today. But this stock, I don't know too much about the history here, but look how it fell down. I'm not sure if this was a reverse. But anyway, AMC put a bunch of money in it. That was this. Then it came all the way back, and then they raised some more money. That was announced in the pre-market. That went from 140 to 230. So this is one to keep an eye on. There's a ton of stock now. If this does get any real, what we do know is it was a loss-making company. It's a gold explorer. AMC put money in it. Why a movie chain is putting money in, I have no idea. But obviously that became a bit of a flavour. Any other stocks we want to look at real quick?
Oh yeah, CLVR. This is what happens afterwards.
CLDR. I don't remember this one. CLDR?
CLVR.
Oh, CLVR. There's CLDR. Wow, look at that gap.
Love, Victor, Robert.
So that was one I traded on Friday. That was a marijuana stock, right?
Oh yeah, someone gave me good advice on that one.
So why didn't you take my advice and sell? So this was one we played on Friday or Thursday, maybe. Friday or Thursday. This was a dope stock, marijuana stock. It squeezed all the way up to over 410 pre-market. Actually, let's look at this on an hourly. This will be nice. So this is why you take your profits, punters and dribblers. So this got a power play on Friday. We're fortunate. As you know, with these, I've been too many of these if I've ever held. And this, wow, I didn't realize I sold the high, mate, 417. Anyway, so on Friday, there was obviously a lot of selling on this. And then it got downgraded, right, by Cohen this morning. And it just sold off all day. So what's going to be interesting on this one, people, is that the marijuana deal comes out on Thursday, right, the vote, whether this catches a leg or it's done too much damage. It's basically covered. What's the opposite of recovered? It recovered that whole move. Retraced that whole move the other day. And, I mean, all the marijuana stocks did this, right? Look at Tilray. That's kind of the most well-known, I guess, these days, is it? Tilray. So Tilray obviously didn't come down. It would be down here if it copied that CLVR. But look at, this got to 870 by the look of it and gave back about 80 cents today. It tried to break up today, actually, this little trade here. So these are all stocks that keep an eye on probably Wednesday to see if there's interest still in marijuana. Or this move here, as we saw on CLVR, maybe that burn everyone out. But it also shows you one person's just got to upgrade or downgrade some of this, and then they just get wrecked, right? One way or the other. Any other ones?
Shows what a difference a day can make. I got wrecked in it. Thank God I got out. I took my losses. Imagine if I didn't.
Well, there was...
I'll be wrecked.
Right, well, that should happen to Vet. I had it covered. Yeah, so that's why you never get too big or too... So here was... what's another one? So here's the opposite. So a little one that we've been playing with that we've mentioned here. We trade, which is a natural gas play. Which has a lot of good products out of Houston. Southwestern Energy, it's an old one. But what has happened, some of these smaller ones, they get picked up by people that aren't familiar with them. So this has been rallying all day. Now, so someone asked me, mentioned, why is this one up? Well, this is natural gas, it's not oil. So, you know what I mean? So some of these smaller stocks, what you're going to be wary of is what happened with Vermilion. They can do takeovers or they can get secondaries. They can be upgraded or downgraded. So don't go all in or all out in some of these stocks. So if your damage, which is going to be happen, you want it to be minimal, right? So oil and gas isn't getting cheaper any day. I mean, they're going to have these big moves. $103, an Exxon or someone's making beaucoup money. But what happens is these things get really overdone. We're at 130, 129, 2 weeks ago on WTI? Now it's 103. That's a $26 move. So everything's exaggerated. So that in all these stocks or whatever. Anything else? Oh, we should. Well, I can't believe we didn't put it up, actually. We talked about it. But Bitcoin was a monster move. And look where it broke through that 50. And look, that's on the weekly level. Let's look at it on the hourly. So this has just gone up steadily since 40,000. And traded up to 48,000. So it's nearly done a full measured move from minus 2.8 to plus 2.8. That's a pretty big move, mate, on Bitcoin, huh? And the real move has been this little beauty, Ethereum. So remember Ethereum? And Johnny did an article about this, the merge. So that's really what's fed Ethereum, and therefore it's fed Bitcoin. So look at that, perfect technically, and see how much far that's ahead. Yeah, there's noise out there like regulation, Russians using it, not using it, etc., etc. But the consistent thing is the merge, and there's an article on that on Traders Community from the man himself. Do yourself a favor, go check it out. Let me see if I can bring it up. Yeah, so there's this article. For those that haven't seen it.
HYMC, baby.
So HYMC, is that making a move? So Ether outperforms Bitcoin. So this came out a week or so ago.
I got a truckload of it, so I still have it.
And just a quick wrap on the bond market. As I said, the bond market
isn't dripping, sorry to look at it. 54 cents already. Just jumped 20 cents.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of buying on that. As I said, that's a meme stock now, pretty much, right? I'm just trying to find the... Yeah, so as far as the bond market goes, I'll just give you the closing yields on that, and then that's it, and we'll get back to trading some HYMC, I think. Right? So those final yields, as I said, weak across the curve and the front. So the two, we had some strength at the end in the 30s and the 10s. Not much, 3 basis points in 2s, and weakness at the front. 2-year and 3-year. Remember, that had a lot to do with the auctions. There was a 2 and a 5. There's 7 tomorrow. So that's reflected in those prices. And you can see the algos pretty well dictate that. So as I said, the 2 was out first. That was weaker by 5 basis points, 234. The 5 was minus Y1. So that does affect it, but really, it's ancillary. The main stuff has been Apple today and the fall in crude. And the recovery of the mighty meme, right? So, the 5-year was 254 in the auction. 2 was 236. That's obviously pressuring mortgage rates and all this sort of thing. So it's not all good out there. The stock market's got you all like it's bloody fantastic, right? So that's it. Without further ado, so make sure to subscribe and like. Any other questions, just shoot us if you want us to look at anything specific. And yeah, be cool. What do we got? We got the jobs report on Friday, and there is CPI and PPI out in Europe. There's also some PMI. Check out the Market Weekly. It's got all the charts, all that's coming out. So a lot of the market is going to be playing for that, or at least positioning for that. Obviously, a lot of oil and energies come off with moves like that. So there we have it. Everyone have a great evening. And we will see, let me find the exit button, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow it may be very short. Have a meeting straight after the market, about 50 miles away from here. So I will see you all. Trade well. Enjoy. Bye now.